I'm just exhausted. Can we not do it tonight? Oh, okay. I just want to connect for a moment. You always want to process something. It's fine. All right. We don't have to do anything. How come it suddenly feels so cold in here? And my chest is getting so tight. My head is spinning. Are we becoming roommates? Why does this silence feel so heavy? Worse than conflict. And are they losing attraction to me? Am I the only one that noticed this relationship is dying here? Why does sometimes it feels like our head is spinning and our breath is so heavy, the silence is so intolerable that is worse than fights and conflicts. Last week, we talked about the grief in romantic relationships. Today, we are going to focus on the moment that anxiety kicks in. It is not only about thoughts. Sometimes it's a body that is waiting. Something bad might be happening, waiting to be rejected or abandoned. This is the Happiness Games podcast. My name is Yizhao Martins. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist in the state of California, and my specialty is somatic couples parts work. Let's begin. So I will talk about from polyvagal theory, system-centered therapy theory, and somatic part work about this anxious experience that we feel not only in our head, but also in our body. And I will divide that and differentiate the three experiences. Number one is thought created anxiety. Number two, it is a frozen fear state in our body that is also parallel to what the polyvagal theory called the dorsal state. It's not necessarily caused by any thoughts, but it feels very vivid in the body. The third state is apprehension. It is what you feel in your body when something about to happen that you do not know yet. Let's dive in and stay till the end for some tips and a standalone meditation. So the first state is easier to identify. That is when your head starts to spin. A lot of my clients and share with me when this part is taking over, they cannot stop thinking. There are a lot of thoughts that's with the nature of predicting the future. They tend to be negative. They tend to be anticipating something's going to happen to them. That's not pleasant. That's not welcomed. That's uncomfortable. For example, in this past video earlier, this partner is saying, well, are we becoming roommates? In some way, that's a question and also what we call a negative prediction. That leads to anxiety. And then they may start to spin their head. What happens when we become roommates? What happens if this relationship is dying? I'm the only one that's holding the burden and trying to save the relationship. And you can go down the rabbit hole, and that's when the 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock rumination happens. You're lying in bed and thinking, spinning, going down the rabbit hole, and your body starts get activated as well. Another type of thoughts that make us anxious is what we call the mind read. That is when we literally have a negative prediction of the other person, that we think that's how they think about us, evaluate us, and feel about us. One example is he's losing attraction towards me. They're not attracted to me anymore. That is categorized as a mind read. The reality is that you do not know. You might be picking up some signals and some data, and then you draw the conclusion, well, could that be they're not interested in me anymore? Okay. So both of those thoughts are not based on reality, that we do not have data to support that. Maybe you have some information from the past, but in this moment, before you check out with the other person, you actually do not have that information if they're losing attraction or not. So those kind of thoughts tend to lead to anxiety, and what we feel in the body, I'm talking from my own experience and what I gather from my clients, are a lot of tightness tend to happen around this band of our body, around the eyes, around the forehead area, sometimes even in the back of the head, and the tightness in the jaw, and sometimes in the neck and shoulder as well. And it comes with shallow breathing. If you notice that you're holding in and make this part really tight, I've noticed that in my body, I can't really breathe fully, and my voice tend to be restricted to the back of my throat. And I'm starting to shake a little bit. It's a very uncomfortable position to hold for a long time. It cut off our circulation, and oxygen go to our body, to our brain, and the rest of our body, the circulation of the fluids in our body. So the second state, and what we call, is a frozen state that's coming from fear. And some of the time, the fear comes not from thoughts, but it's just a sensation in the body. I was feeling a lot of that in the past week when I noticed there's a lot of information going towards me and coming at me in this environment, this time we're in, with AI, with technology, fast growing. There's a lot of information that come to me that my body is actively adapting to it. And it creates a lot of information that my body is not catching up with the speed of processing. So at some point, there's a part of me that comes out saying, that's it. We got to stop this. It's too much stimulation. But this part knows, it's a protector. How to slow this down is by creating a straitjacket for me. Just literally from top to bottom, and really restrict me, saying, stop vibrating, stop shaking, stop moving so fast, stay still. But it's not a very connected and integrated way of slowing things down. So what happened is it create a lot of tension in my body, my arm and shoulders, and my chest and my belly. So what happened is I feel more stressed because the things are not moving and process going down towards the ground. And what I feel inside is literally just freaking out. Like, okay, this is too much. I don't know how to deal with this. And my breath were frozen. I was not breathing deeply. And I had to take some conscious decision to pause throughout the day and do some meditation and walking, mindful walking, to down-regulate my nervous system. So stay till the end for that standalone meditation that came from my own experience of self-regulating. The third type of experience is also in the body. We call apprehension. It is when you're about to do something and you're having this stage of not knowing what's going to happen. If you're an athlete, think about someone who's about to run. You get into the getting ready position. I'm thinking about a cat literally having the paws in front and squatting down and get ready to jump. And there's a lot of tension that building in the body into accumulating, gathering energy, and is ready to shoot out. Or if you're a performer, you can think about before you're performing and you have a lot of energy inside of it and you just cannot wait to come out. It's kind of unsettling in some way. There's a lot of vibration. There's a lot of energy. And you're like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm ready to go. Come on, give me this outlet. Right? So it's not necessarily a bad sensation, but if you are not familiar with that, you may register it as unsettling, uncomfortable. I do not like it. And that's also understandable. But the more you breathe into it, the more you connect, making a lot of room in your body, make the container bigger to hold them inside until when you're ready to let out the energy. It will be very good to harness those energy. So now, when you know what this look like in your body and in your mind, when you have those thoughts that lead to anxiety, lead to frozen state, a shutdown in fear, where is apprehension? It's good to notice and separate and differentiate. So what I'm sharing is what I felt in my body and then what I gathered from my clients' experiences. But each of us might have a different experience, and even in the same state, you might notice some different sensations from me, and that's totally understandable and it's totally normal. So my goal here is to inspire you to pay attention, be more aware and mindful of your internal experiences, and normalize that and humanize that so you do not feel alone. You may notice some similarities to my experience, or you may notice some differences. If you find a similarity, that's great. You know you are not alone in this. If you notice any differences, could you be curious and notice that, wow, I have a unique share of experience in fear and anxiety that's different from other people. But some people share a lot of things in common, I see, in romantic relationships. When they go to the state, they notice a prolonged silence or disconnection between the partner. And then the head starts to spin, and then their bodies start to even shut down in frozen fear state, or they feel apprehensive about what might have to come. And then that's totally normal. So what the tips I have for you is, number one, you wanted to differentiate the three. Notice, ask yourself the first question, do I have any thoughts that's related that make me feeling this way? Sit with yourself for a little bit and notice those thoughts. Those thoughts tend to be negative. Those thoughts about other people and what might happen in the future that you actually do not know? If that's the case, can you be curious about what might happen, what are the other person thinking about you? So the second one is when you do actually some grounding exercise to acknowledge that the state you're being in. If you're feeling frozen, can you breathe deeper into the area that's more restricted? Can you actually shake it out and move your body, take a little walk outside? If you feel apprehensive, if you know you want to conserve and harness this energy for performance or presentation or sports competition, then you breathe and contain that and do not release it. But if you know it's for nothing, you can do some exercise and actually let go of that energy, transfer into the environment and into building your physical form. So let's do a meditation. This is great for you in the middle of the time you're feeling you're spinning in your head by yourself, or you start to get into a conflict, like the beginning of the video, partners start to have this conflict, but not exploding conflict. It's a more undertoned and with tension and built inside and disconnection. And you want to take some time for yourself to ground and center and come back to your partner. So you can name your state saying, well, I'm feeling unsafe in my body right now. I have a lot of thoughts coming at me. I'm going to take a moment to sit with that and to regulate myself, and I'll come back so we can connect. So are you ready for the meditation? All right, great. You can choose to sit on a chair or on a cushion or lie on the floor if that's what you desire. And feel the area of your body that's connecting to the ground. And notice the texture of the ground, either floor, carpet, grass, whatever is contacting your body. And if there's any region your skin, bare skin, is having contact with, notice the temperature of the surface and notice the temperature of your body surface. And notice the interaction, how you're being supported by the floor. And slow down your breathing. You can count 1 when you inhale and count to 4 when you exhale. And start to soften the chest and your jaw. You can slide your jaw from side to side. And if you like, you can use your tongue to touch the tip of your mouth and then rotate it inside of your mouth, clockwise and counterclockwise. And acknowledging which part of your body is giving you some signal, wanting some attention. It could be a temperature change, it could be a pulsation, it could be vibration. You can place your hand there, maybe your face, your chest, your arm, your shoulder, your belly. Place one or both your hands on top of that region and listen with your hand. and tell this part of you, I hear you. It's okay that you're vibrating, you're pulsing. It's okay you're feeling hot right now or cold. I'm here to acknowledge you and to validate you. Thank you for giving me those information. You're trying to tell me something. And if your head starts to spin and some thoughts come out, gently brush it to the side with one hand as many times as you need to do, saying, I'll come back to you later, I can write you down later. But in this moment, let me stay with my body and my breath for a little bit longer. I can stay present even when I do not know what's gonna happen. It's normal to feel uncertain and apprehensive. I can feel longing without losing my ground. My body knows what it feels to be safe. And one breath at a time. You can come back to this meditation as many times as possible, whenever throughout your day. And I will see you next week to continue to explore all the different parts that's being activated might show up in your romantic relationship dynamic once you hit a certain point when the honeymoon phase starts to fade. See you next week.